Explore the enduring impact of growing up with a narcissistic parent on adult children.
If you want to live in this house, you have to live by my rules.
Unraveling patterns and behaviors that persist into adulthood, discover 10 ways this upbringing can significantly influence one's life journey. 1. Narcissist adult children have low self-esteem. Growing up with narcissistic parents can affect how you see yourself as an adult. Imagine having parents who are always focused on themselves. They never validate your feelings or accomplishments. Psychologists say this kind of upbringing can make you feel like you're never measuring up. As a result, you constantly doubt and question your worth.
You are so selfish, Mom. You are so selfish and it frigging sucks, okay?
Their self-centeredness rubs off on you. It's challenging to be confident about yourself. Experts in psychology have seen this pattern in many adults who have narcissistic parents. It's a tough cycle to break. However, many adult children of narcissists find ways to build their self-worth with support and self-reflection. 2. Narcissists' adult children may struggle with codependency. Growing up with narcissistic parents can shape how someone interacts with the world as an adult. Psychologists note that kids raised by narcissistic parents might grow up with codependent tendencies. They're on a quest for constant validation. Experts in psychology mention how these adult children often feel this emotional void from their parents' neglect. They end up leaning heavily on others for emotional support. They're trying to patch up a leaky bucket of self-worth with other people's opinions. Breaking this cycle involves finding validation from within rather than constantly seeking it externally. It's like building a more solid emotional backbone by recognizing your value, independent of others' opinions. 3. Narcissists' adult children have difficulty establishing boundaries. Growing up with a narcissistic parent can make setting boundaries feel like trying to build a sandcastle during high tide. Psychologists note that kids raised by narcissistic parents might find it hard to draw lines in the sand, like saying no when needed. This struggle can linger into adulthood. It may be challenging for these people to stand their ground in friendships or workplaces. This boundary stuff is like having a personal space bubble. Psychologists say that as adults, children of narcissists might let others step over their boundaries. They feel guilty when they try to say, "Hey, this isn't cool." Therapy can help these adults build stronger boundaries and reclaim their personal space. 4. Narcissists' adult children fear rejection. Imagine you're at work and hesitant to pitch your idea in a meeting because you're worried it won't be good enough. That fear of being criticized or rejected might stem from years of enduring constant criticism by narcissistic parents. When kids grow up in an environment where their achievements are constantly dismissed, they tend to carry that fear of rejection into adulthood. Psychologists often point out that this fear can sneak into different parts of life, from relationships to career choices. Overcoming this fear involves unraveling those past experiences and building self-confidence. 5. Narcissists' adult children face identity issues. Narcissistic parents often focus on themselves. They leave little room for their kids to explore their own identities. Imagine someone growing up with a parent who always dismisses their interests or ideas. Psychologists mention that this constant invalidation can make it challenging for these kids when they grow up. They might struggle to figure out their passions because they've spent so much time pleasing someone else. Adult children of narcissists might struggle to clearly understand who they are or what they want in life. It can lead to questions and doubts about their desires and choices. For instance, they might feel like they're living someone else's life instead of their own. Surprisingly, 80% of our audience hasn't subscribed. Please click the subscribe button and give this video a like to support us in the YouTube algorithm. Thank you. Now let's continue, shall we? 6. Narcissists' adult children may become perfectionists. Adults who grew up with narcissistic parents develop a knack for perfectionism. Imagine a kid who always strives to get things right to earn love or praise from their parent. Psychologists have noted that these adults carry this need for flawlessness into their lives. They believe they will only get their parents' approval if everything is spotless. So, they push themselves hard. They aim for perfection in everything they do, whether work, relationships, or personal goals. It's tough because this pursuit of perfection can mess with their mental health. They're in this never-ending loop of striving for flawlessness due to their parents' inability to provide unconditional love. 7. Narcissists' adult children have trust issues. When you grow up with narcissistic parents, trust becomes like a fragile vase you're afraid to touch. When your parents are unreliable or self-centered, it shakes your faith in others. Psychologists often talk about how these experiences can create trust issues that stick around in adulthood. You might find it challenging to lean on people or believe someone's genuinely looking out for you. Imagine you're at work and your colleague offers to help finish a project, but you hesitate because deep down, that inner voice whispers, "Can they be trusted?" It's that doubt echoing your past experiences, shaping your present relationships. Therapy can help rewire those trust circuits in your brain messed up by your narcissistic parents. 8. Narcissists' adult children may enter into troubled relationships. Growing up with a narcissistic parent can mess with how someone sees relationships. Suppose someone's mom or dad was all about themselves. As this person grows up, they might find partners who act the same way. They get drawn to those traits without even realizing it. When you're used to that self-centered vibe at home, you may attract similar dynamics in relationships. Some psychologists say these adults might feel lost and stuck in this cycle of attracting partners who mimic their parents' behavior. It's a tricky spot because it takes a lot of work to unlearn those patterns and build healthier connections. 9. Narcissists' adult children struggle with self-care. Growing up with narcissistic parents can make self-care challenging for adult children. Dr. Ramani Durvasula, a clinical psychologist, explains that children are often raised to prioritize their narcissistic parents' demands. For instance, you might recall situations where your parents' emotional needs always precede your own. It may feel natural to neglect your well-being. As a result, practicing self-care can feel foreign or even selfish. This difficulty in self-care can impact various aspects of life. You feel guilty for taking time for relaxation or enjoyment. You might even risk your health in the process. 10. Narcissists' adult children feel a sense of guilt and obligation. Psychologists say that kids raised by narcissistic parents often carry a sense of guilt into adulthood. They feel this immense pressure to keep their parents happy, even if it means sacrificing their happiness or health. So, let's say you're an adult now trying to build your own life, but your parent keeps calling and expecting you to drop everything for them. Experts point out that this constant guilt or obligation can affect your self-worth. You might feel stuck in this cycle of always putting their needs first. It can seriously affect your mental health and relationships. Psychologists highlight that it's okay to prioritize your well-being, even if it means saying no to a parent. It's like a roadmap to understand the struggles many people face as grown-ups due to their upbringing. The effects of narcissistic parents on adult children can shape many aspects of their lives. Understanding these impacts is crucial to breaking harmful cycles and fostering personal growth. Healing from such upbringing takes time and effort, but is possible with self-awareness and seeking support. If any of these points hit home for you, know it's okay to seek therapy.